So I thought I would make a short video about this chest that I've made with Christopher Schwartz in Germany on his course run by Dictum in a little tiny place called Niederaltaich. I drove there from England, made this chest, put it in my small car and drove all the way back, and it was a fantastic time. Had a lot of fun and ended up with a great chest. Only the carcass was really made, carcass and the lid was made during the course, and the rest of it, the lock, the chain, all these drawers were made when I came back. So it's a great place to store your tools, and the drawers slide so you can easily access your tools from many of the layers here. So I can reach down and grab a tool. So they slide very easily, and they have handles here that you can pull to reach the lower drawers. Down below, I will change the camera angle in a moment, is a saw till, which is currently empty, and room to put your planes and heavier tools at the bottom. It's just a lovely thing to use, really nice to open it up. I try and keep it in a sort of sensible order. It's almost too small for what I need. I do have a lot of tools, but it's certainly better than what I had before, which was a Japanese style work tool chest, which wasn't really big enough to put everything in. But this is a joy to use. It's so easy. I've got my winding sticks in here, which I also made with Christopher. These are very nice, very useful to use. I've got keep all my measuring tools in the top, so I've got my straight edge, bevel, marking gauges, marking knife, and so on. Squares, caliper, and then below I've got sort of cutting tools and rasps and things, hammers, spoke shave, small plane. I keep this up at the top because it's very handy, and the bigger planes are at the bottom. And then down here I've got all my chisels and some more rasps and some mallets. This is a nice mallet from blue spruce. So yeah, all in all, it's an absolutely lovely thing. It's almost full already, and I've still got tools to buy, but I'm sure it will be very it will be very used over the years. It took about 2 years to build from beginning to end. The carcass, as I said, took 1 week, but I don't have a vast amount of time to do woodworking, so it was sort of an ongoing project. It's already looking beaten up in places, and the joinery is a bit rough here and there, but to be honest, it really doesn't matter. It's a functional item of furniture. It works, it looks nice, and that's really all I need. The paint, I should say a little bit about the paint because it's quite interesting. It's the wood is just a plain pine wood, and then for the carcass, and then it's painted over with 2 coats of milk paint, which is this sort of you can just see it maybe on the video, I don't know if it will show, of this sort of barn red colour underneath the black, and then 2 coats of pitch black milk paint on the top of this, on top of that. So there's 4 coats of paint, and as time goes on and it wears down, the red will show through, and it's a traditional style of painting that was perhaps originated in Europe. But it's not a modern chest, it's an old style chest. I've seen lots of chests like this that date from a long time ago, and it's an old style carpenter's chest. You might have found one of these on a ship or in a carpenter's shop. So there it is. I will change the camera angle and show you briefly inside. So here we have a better view of what's going on. down here are you see these slots. There are 4 slots. They are to hold the saws. I don't really have any panel saws at the moment. I intend to get some. So they will go in there when I have some saws, and some big tenon saws. For sawing, I generally make do with my fine dovetail saw. I have got a cheap sort of panel saw, you know, the sort of type with hardened tips that I use sometimes, but it's not in here. So that's where the saws live, down here. At the moment I've got things like squares that I made, a big heavy wooden mallet that was given to me by a Danish woodworker, and he did tell me what the wood was, but I've forgotten, so if anybody can tell from the grain what that is and let me know, that would be good. And then in the bottom here I've got my planes. I haven't got that many planes at the moment, so I'm going, as I said, I'm going to run out of space. I think I'm going to need to be constructive down here and maybe invent some kind of sliding gantry or something down at the bottom. But I've got a nice big, what is this, number 6, yeah, from Lee Nilsson. I do pretty much all my planing with this. It suits nearly all my needs, so that lives down there. I have a skew rabbit plane Veritas, which is very nice, beautiful for cutting rebates, as we call them in the UK, or rabbits as you call them in the US. And then I have some old braces and bits, and a shoulder plane here. So all in all, it's a wonderful piece of workshop furniture that I have. One thing I haven't talked about is the wheels. It is actually on casters. It's very heavy. The runners are made of oak. I polished these up very smoothly and finished them with 1 coat of sanding sealer to ensure that the grain didn't pop afterwards, and then just wax them slightly, and they are very smooth running. So we've got oak here. The drawers are made of oak at the bottom here, and the sides of the shelves are made from, the trays I should say, are made from pine as well. So and this divider is made from oak, and the saw tills are made from oak. So all in all, it's very heavy, especially with all the tools in it, and it doesn't really move anywhere, but it is on casters and it can be moved, so I can quite easily move it around, and you know, it's strong enough to sit on and whatever else you want to do, really. It's just a very nice piece of furniture. So I open this up and just reach in and grab the tools that I need for the project that I'm working on. Yeah, that's really about it. If you've got any questions, post them and I'll try to answer them. Hope you enjoyed the video. So the other thing I wanted to talk about just briefly at the end was the book that we made the chest from, so to speak. This was Christopher Schwartz's first book that he published with Lost Art Press, and when we commenced the course, Christopher had just set up the company, and so this was the first book that they had actually published, and it sold very well and did them very good business, so he was very grateful for that. But this is a very nice book indeed, and it's got a nice cover with a carpenter's square shaped into the form of an A for Anarchist. Christopher goes into great detail explaining why he chose the term Anarchist. It was because it's somebody who now breaks away from the norm, i.e. people who use power tools, I suppose, and it's somebody who can be self-sufficient and work entirely out of one chest, and the idea is that you have all the tools that you need to make practically anything from this one chest. So yeah, it's called The Anarchist Toolchest, published by the Lost Art Press. It's nicely hardbound. It's It's been in my workshop a bit, so it's a bit humid here because we've got about 80–90% humidity, so it's a little bit warped, but it will correct itself in the summer. So basically he goes through various categories of tools in the book, explaining what they're for, why you would want them, how to care for them, where to buy them, whether you want to buy new or whether you should go the antique route, and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's just packed full of really good advice from somebody who's passionate about hand tools. So if you're a power tool user and you're interested in hand tools, this is a great book to read to actually come up to speed on some of the old tools and the old way of doing things, which of course, you know, was so common a while ago, 100 years ago, but a lot of it's been lost, I suppose, hence the company's name, the Lost Art Press. So yeah, so there's the first half of the book, or 2/3 of the book, is all about the tools that you would want in your chest. And then it goes on to actually then start describing how to actually construct a chest. And it's got sort of full details with full plans, and it's pretty easy to follow and to actually make your own chest. So there's plenty of detail in here, all about the construction, and at the back there are some sketch art plans telling you how to make things and how to go through it. Yeah, all in all, it's a pretty good buy, and it's a lovely project to work on.